Depending on how you look at it, Sludge is either the most unfortunate and biggest sufferer of the Combiner, or the biggest Chad of the entire group. Legacy Evolution Core Class Sludge. Today on Guerrilla Reviews. Now, in this incarnation, obviously Sludge has shrunk down considerably. It's hard to say what type of dinosaur he is, Brachiosaurus or some sort of bizarre hybrid, because usually with these types of dinosaurs the tail and neck are longer. And unfortunately in this mode there is zero articulation, which is kind of a problem if you want to get him in action poses. Moving on to transmission into robot mode, it's something different. You start by unpegging the back and separating out the tail part, folding back the head, revealing the robot head, fold up the arms, take the torso and with the upper part and twist it 180. Separate the arms like that. Separate the tail. Put the head back and there we go. Sludge, robot mode. And in robot mode we see one of the most bizarre points about Sludge. He really doesn't have any real hips. Granted, they do a very good optical illusion, but it's just kind of weird. He has no hips, so he could give hips to Volcanicus. It's just wild. On articulation, the head does rotate. The arms are on a ball joint, but that's since they're one piece, it's kind of not much you can do there. Legs, since you have to move them this way on the hips, are on multiple joints here. We got a mushroom pig and a universal, as well as a swivel joint and a ball joint there. So there is articulation to be had, but doing it without breaking the sculpt is going to be tricky. Looking at a Sludge now, many of you probably won't get this reference, but you ever heard of the movie Boxing Helena? Well, it's kind of how it sounds. It is. It stars Sherilyn Fenn and Jillian Sands. It's a weird movie, but basically with this sort of robot mode, Sludge just looks like a torso with limbs just kind of floating above him, around him rather. It is just it is incredibly weird. And now for the most bizarre part of this, the combined mode. Well, is that the fact that that Sludge just looks like a floating torso here. And I have concerns about this, but here we go. Okay, move the arms upward, twist the legs this way, and move up. And they should be able to. Yes, here we go. Snap into that part right there. Repeat with the other leg, and again. Then out that way. That way. That way. And there's Sludge's contribution to the combined mode. Granted, this looks a little bit better with Slug attached to his head, but that's not saying much. Okay, so since we have at least two components here, we can at least get a rough idea. Combined mode now. According to this, it should just combine into that port right there in the knee section. Huh. Now, since Sludge here becomes the lower body / hips of the Volcanicus combiner, it's obviously you can tell that there were some sacrifices made in order to get everything working together. Now, remember that with Combiner Wars Long Haul, he was a big boy in order to compensate for the size and weight of everyone else. Sludge here being a much smaller size class, that probably doesn't have to as much. But still, you gotta wonder, would it if Sludge actually have wanted to become the hips? You gotta it's just a curiosity of like, he gave up his own hips to give up hips to Volcanicus, and actually appreciate that decision. Now granted, again, this is how the Volcanicus combiner also worked, so I may just be pulling this out of thin air, but still it's a little weird. Now again, judging one robot for being part of a combiner isn't really fair, so it's still very early to tell how this is going to turn out. Granted, we have seen some pictures with more of the robots on it, which does help visualize it, but as just an individual robot, it's not that great. As a team, well, you're probably going to have it in Dino mode anyway instead of Robo mode because of how this all works out. Or you're probably going to have it in Volcanicus mode anyway. But this is going to be a very odd venture, and I thank you for coming along with me on this so far. Anyway, I am the Deceptiwolf. This has been Legacy Evolution Sludge. Again, remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.